Triratna Saranam, Namo Amitabhaya Buddhaya. Hello everyone, Namaskar. Welcome to you all in our today's special show of Bodhi Samvad. Today we have our special guest, Most Venerable Bhikkhu Hui-Chang from Taiwan. Most Venerable Bhikkhu Hui-Chang is the president of Taiwan Buddhist Association, TBA, was founded in 1947. Since then, this association is working in Taiwan and all over the world for propagation of Buddhist teachings and the education. Likewise, humanitarian reliefs and other works also associated with social betterment. Most Venerable Bhikkhu Hui-Chang, thank you very much for your presence here with us, and we welcome you. Venerable, while seeing the history of Buddhism, it has many ups and downs as well as revivals too. Even in Buddha's birthplace and other places in Asia. How is Buddhist education or teachings practiced by monastics and lay people in Taiwan nowadays?
其实佛法的脉动其实是整体性的，就是呢全球化的。当然，全球化的这样子的佛法的脉动，当然台湾也会跟着脉动啊。但是呢，台湾。
This ups and down is, very much global. It's not just limited to any area. So for Taiwan, of course, we have been experiencing some ups and downs normally. But then I feel, relatively speaking, Taiwan is quite fortunate because, we know that the Buddhism has started from India. Buddha was born in Nepal, and then the Dharma, Buddha Dharma, has been, spreaded from India to China and then to Taiwan. And then Taiwan has been a very important pathway also for the Dharma to be transmitted to, Japan, Korea, and other places as well. And Taiwan somehow is rather fortunate to, despite the ups and downs, manage to preserve, all beautiful traditions, Buddhist traditions and lineages in Taiwan. Yeah, Taiwan is fortunate, very fortunate, partly because, the Taiwanese Buddhists are quite open-minded, especially in recent years. Different forms of the Dharma, different lineages, like the Theravada, the Tibetan traditions have all come to Taiwan. And, of course, the Mahayana Chinese tradition has also gone through some different ups and downs. And yet, in Taiwan, because the monks and nuns and also lay people, they have a very open-minded attitude. They embrace all these Buddha Dharma. So, as many of you should have heard, Taiwan has quite a few major Buddhist huge groups, right? Like the Foguangshan, the Buddha Light Mountain, and then the Dhamma Drum Mountain, Tzu for sure, right? Very popular in Nepal. And also there's the Zhongtai Chan meditation tradition in Taiwan. Not only are they, really propagating the Dharma in Taiwan, they also bring the Dharma to, overseas, many different continents. So they are also making an effort to assist with the sustainability of the Buddha Dharma by spreading out. Also, we are able to stabilize these ups and downs.
Most Venerable, as you are president of TBA, as you mentioned already, there are 4 major organizations working for Buddhism in Taiwan. How many organizations or institutions working for Buddhism in and out of Taiwan, and how they are working?
大团体，佛教的大团体，然后呢，用不同的角度像慈济，它从人文
So just now we mentioned Tzu Chi, right? Shih focuses a lot on charity and disaster relief, and then Zhongtai, on the other hand, focuses a bit more on the meditation, the inner cultivation, and then also like the Dharma drum, for example, they focuses a lot on the Sangha education, and then for Guangshan also, they have their special focuses, and yet actually they are doing everything. We're just highlighting some different aspects. And in a way, that these big groups are showcasing Taiwan as a whole, how Taiwan is trying to play a role to help stabilizing this ups and down, with the challenge of AI, right? The challenge of lower birth rate, the Buddhist world, all the challenges the Buddhist world is facing. Taiwan is really trying to make its effort to help. In addition to these four major groups mentioned, there are actually many smaller organizations or temples or even individuals that are making their efforts. In the Dharma practice, Taiwan is Mahayana Chinese tradition. We focus on both the inner cultivation, right? Because we have to really establish ourselves, and then because we also want to practice compassion, we cannot see the suffering out there, so we reach out to help. So much has been done, in both the inner cultivation and reaching out to help. And just now I mentioned, as Venerable mentioned, the individuals. The examples given was Venerable Hui, who has done a lot of work in Africa. Saving and educating African children. And there's also Venerable Hui-Chang that has started, a school for children in Nepal. And he's also doing a lot of work, trying to help. So as a whole, Taiwan, Taiwanese Buddhists have been really trying in every way to help stabilize, back to your question, the ups and downs globally, to play a role in really contributing to the stability and also the sustainability of the Buddha Dharma, so that the Buddha Dharma can really sustain. Another thing very much worth mentioning about the importance of Taiwanese Buddhist society is gender equality. The Taiwanese bhikshunis really are doing great. They're so outstanding because of the recognition of the importance of gender equality. There's no difference actually, right? To become the Buddha nature and to become Buddha we all have this potential to become Buddha. So we really shouldn't be distinguishing between male, female. And in terms of that, the Taiwanese bhikshuni really have taken their responsibility. They have been doing a lot of work, both inside of Taiwan and also reaching out. And they are so outstanding. They are also playing a very important role in ordination, for example. So this is also something very much worth mentioning about the contribution of the Taiwanese Buddhist community to the world. So just now we mentioned Master Zheng Yan, right? Such an outstanding bhikshuni leader of Shih Foundation, and she's very much compatible to Mother Teresa. They two are good friends, actually. So they try to relieve the suffering of the world, and in addition to that part of relieving suffering, the Taiwanese bhikshunis also play a very important role of the Dharma lineage. Passing on the bhikshuni lineage to the world.
Venerable, Buddhism is referred as the guidance to relieve from suffering of all the sentient beings. Following the lineage and ideals of Master Insen, how the humanistic Buddhism flourishing in Taiwan? What is it and how is it applied in daily life for the nature and humanity?
很多的法师在不同的地方，所以呢，台湾不光只是在台湾在寺院，所以一个修行者无非就是内修跟外弘
So actually, before Venerable Yin Shun, which everybody's more familiar with, there's also Master Tai Shi. Before Master Yin Shun, there's Master Tai Shi, who during the wartime, lots of ups and downs back in China, he started propagating the so-called 人生佛教, Buddha Dharma for human life. Okay, before the humanistic, that was pushed one step further. This for human life, because Buddha Dharma, after all, when the Buddha taught the Dharma, it's for human beings to practice. So Master Tai Shi managed to bring human back to the center for the Dharma. And then later, Master Yin Shun continued to push that concept and using that term, right? Humanistic Buddhism, Buddhism for the human realm. And so then this daily life practice becomes the center in order to really cultivate. And Master Yin Shun actually established two most important institutes, because we know to be able to sustain the Dharma, to propagate the Dharma, we need teachers, right? Teacher is the key. It's like, planting. You need a seed, right? So the first institute is Hui-Chang Buddhist Institute. And the other, so that is the cultivation for the teachers. And the other institute is Hui-Chang Dharma Lecture Hall. That is to teach to the outside, the lay people. So our master here, Venerable Hui-Chang, was a student at this Hui-Chang Buddhist Institute. And then he also became the teacher of teachers at Hui-Chang, the same institute, right? So this is how it's continues to train the teachers and also to propagate. So this Foguangshan group, under the leadership of Master Xing Yun, they were able to come up with their own media. They also have their own TV station. They have their own newspaper. And these days, they also have a museum where, people, the tourists could go and then visit the Buddhist museum to make a positive connection with the Buddha Dharma first. So from whichever way in daily life, they have tried to provide accessibility to people, to the Dharma.
典范，从不同的角度。 从最核心
Indeed, Master Yin Shun's humanist Buddhism, which also, the two examples, right, the Master Zheng Yan and Master Yin Shun have sort of like carried on and propagate in Taiwan, really, has been really successfully bring the Dharma accessible to all from the inner cultivation first, and then you bring out the Dharma to all sentient beings. So for the Buddha Dharma and for all sentient beings.
Venerable, we can see the contemporary lifestyle in society is disrupted with varieties of conflicts, uncertainty and controversies. How can we bring peace, prosperity and happiness through the Buddhist teachings in life?
这是非常一个核心的问题，也是 最重要的一个问题，其实佛陀出生在2500多年前，其实那个时候的世界其实也没有很和平。
So you have asked the most important question. That's the key, the core of all questions. How do we bring back peace, for our daily life, for the world? Back in the Buddha's time, actually, over 2,000 years ago, the Buddha's time was not, really better or anything. It was also full of conflicts back in India, right? So the Buddha actually was also born because of that. He is here to show us the way. He is here to teach us how to manage that. And he's a great example for all of us. He's the awakened one, the enlightened one. And if we remember the Buddha together with his disciples, the Buddha did not try to go out to fight all other battles. No, the Buddha has taught us to fight our own inner battle first, right? So how do we bring peace to the world? first of all, we have to have peace with ourselves. We all have dukkha. We all have our suffering. Everybody has their own suffering. So you cannot, just give your suffering to others. You cannot solve others' suffering. So you have to return to your own suffering. You have to be able to conquer your own infliction, your own problem. You bring peace to your own mind. And if you are in peace, if you have a peaceful mind, then the way you talk, whatever you do, you also express that peace as a message to people around. So from yourself and then to other people, then you bring peace. So as a great teacher, to teach us to bring peace to ourselves, the Buddha has taught us the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold, Noble Path, right? So the Buddha taught us there's dukkha, right? And then there's causes of dukkha, and then we can extinguish the dukkha, and there's the way. All of us, we recognize dukkha. We know we have suffering, but not so many of us are willing to admit that we have created our own suffering. All these sufferings have causes that we have created ourselves, right? So by getting rid of causes, by not creating those suffering for ourselves, the Buddha has shown us the Eightfold Noble Path. So if we are able to follow, the Buddha's teachings, then we can bring peace back to ourselves.
所以，其实，在印顺导师他作品也提到这一个佛
The
教。
Buddha himself has also demonstrated for us how he dealt with wars in his time. Right? In Master Insun's books, Master Insun has especially referred to the time when the Buddha, was to witness the Sakya clan suffering from being destroyed for 3 times. Like the Buddha, the first time the Buddha was like sitting just underneath the tree, not doing anything. So what was the Buddha teaching us? He did not wage war. He did not try to, using war, counter war. He was just sitting there showing peace, this non-violence teaching. And time after time, although eventually, karma did not stop the Sakya clan from being destroyed. So in a way, the Buddha was not able to really save the Sakya clan, but he was able to show us how we could face, war by actually being peace, himself, by demonstrating. Even though you win the war, even though you are able to win the war, to win whatever you want through war, but what exactly are you getting? Master said that the king who destroyed Sakya clan, he actually must have also been thinking, through the Buddha's teachings. Of course, like karma, didn't really stop that from happening yet. We have a perfect peace example there. So right now in our modern world, we see so many conflicts, so many wars. Who's causing that? It's the human mind, because all these so-called weapons, all these material things, they are used by humans. They themselves are neutral. For example, the knife, right? The knife can be used to stab people, to kill, but then the knife used by chef can create really yummy food for us, right? And the gun, the police use the gun to protect people, human life, and yet, the gangsters use the gun to kill people instead. So it's not a problem with the knife or the gun. It's not a problem with the materials. It's a problem with the human mind. So we can only return to the human mind to make sure the human minds are in a peaceful state. Then our world can be in peace.
Venerable, as you and all of us are trying to study and propagate teachings with our scope from our places, how can the Buddhist teachings help to stop the wars happening between US and Iran, Russia and Ukraine recently. What could be the best way to call those superpowers to contemplate and practice Buddhism?
Yeah, because we are not leaders of the two countries, right? So we cannot really directly do anything about it. And we're not even directly involved. Like you said, you're in Nepal, we're in Taiwan, but we're Buddhists. And also we have the great example by the Buddha already, right? The Buddha back then he was not waging war. Even if we go to the war, we cannot help either. So there's this karma involved, right? The Buddha was not there to change the karma between the prince who want to destroy the Sakya clan. He was only there to stay as an example of peace by showing how people can do by practicing peace and compassion. So that's exactly what we can do as Buddhists. We continue to practice peace. We continue to practice compassion, and we pray. Hopefully, really, slowly, if more and more people are praying peace together, more and more people are praying compassion together, that is the power, the vibration can somehow spread to affect the leaders, the decision makers, right? And we don't take side. There's no need to take any side, but just continuing to practice peace and compassion, and with the faith in the karma too, right? We know we cannot change your karma. If karma can be changed like that by exterior force, the Buddha would have changed everything for us, right? So the Buddha also taught us, no, this is not how we do it. So we respect karma, and then we cannot change the past karma. We can only focus on the causes we can plant now. So that's exactly what we should and can do by continuing to practice, and also from ourselves, because in front of us there's this cup of water, and if we only think for ourselves, selfish desire, I'm thirsty, I'm going to drink up the whole cup of water, without even thinking, oh, maybe others will be also thirsty and they need some water too, then that's counter the Dharma teaching of compassion. So if we continue, if we practice compassion, if we practice the Dharma, then we would then watch very carefully of our personal desire. We don't let it grow to the extent that we want to grab things for our own. The Buddha has actually shown us a very powerful tool to work out the karma by the practice, right? The real practice, because only if for example, the individuals know not to just endlessly expand their own selfish desire to the extent that the leaders want to take another country. If only every individual and as well as the leaders know about impermanence, nothing he can take away with them, right? There's this ending day, right? And also this sunyata, this emptiness, right? Eventually, if only we can learn, truly practice the Buddha's teachings, then we would not want to grab, we would not just want to fulfill our selfish desire. And between, like people and people, just individuals, of course, we have our differences, right, in our upbringing, in our different concerns. So definitely there will be different opinions. There will be some conflicts every once in a while. If only we remember that nothing lasts, nothing is permanent, nothing you can really grab for your own, then there will be some space. You would relax and you wouldn't continue that sort of fights. So from there, we start practicing peace. Right now, we might feel hopeless or helpless because we are not in the leadership role. So we could not really tell them what to do. But we should not lose hope. We just continue practicing, because from beginning last time, right? How many lifetimes have we gone through already, right? And now we have the Dharma, and seeing all these things that we do not wish to happen. Again, we return to ourselves. We return to our own practice. We practice peace. We practice compassion, wisdom. We practice remembering, all sentient beings, and little by little, with that practice, we are actually cultivating merit, right? And with that intention, continuing intention, life after life, when we have enough good merit, maybe we'll be born as leader, or maybe this lifetime already you're gonna, become one of the decision-making roles. Then you can exercise your influence on these important matters. But the point is continuous practice. So actually, we are all working together, right, in our different ways. And there's this group of, monks, right, in America. They started to do that walk for peace, for example, right? They did it in the United States on the road. They are not asking anything in return. They just walk peacefully, mindfully, and they are not even trying to convert people or whatever. They just pray for America. And I'm sure Trump must have been made aware of that. We don't know exactly how much he's influenced or not. Yet, we just continue that kind of efforts. And little by little, we are sure it's going to make a change. Yeah.
Can we summarize like this? The cycle of dependent origination, like cause and condition cycle, and collective karma and collective merits, all these will go on. We just should practice for our inner peace. We should cultivate the merits.
用私心去追求是求不到的，为什么呢？求的过程当中就是苦，因为要跟人家竞争。所以战争也是因为这样子而来，求到了，抓在手里了。
Yes, we could say that, but that's only part of it. The individual, part of cultivation. Yes, definitely. We start from there. When the mind is in peace, the world will be in peace. Yes. However, of course, there's the very important part of the Dharma, the proactive, part of the Dharma. So, in addition to your own practice, the individual practice, you also try to influence your family, for example, your workplace, and then your country. So you want to have a very proactive attitude in addition to doing your own individual practice. Because, we all know about this suffering. To want something already is suffering, because that wanting, that feeling is suffering. And then once you get it, it's also suffering because you're afraid of losing it. So like these so-called country leaders, even though they grab another country, we believe that they are not really in peace. Are they really sleeping well at night? So, because there's a lot of fear, right? A lot of this kind of confliction in their mind. Again, back to our individual, but then eventually, slowly, we try to influence the people around us, proactively.
Venerable, passing Buddhist education to new generations and applying it is being challenging situation. As the youngest president of TBA, how is your plan on passing the Dharma to younger generations and sustaining it for the generations to come?
是。我想台湾佛教总会现在是我最年轻，以后会有更年轻这是我期许的目标确实不光只是佛教，其实所有的宗教都面临这样的一个问题那因为或许
So of course, being the youngest, the youngest president of the Taiwan Buddhist Association right now, Master's wish is that he will bring even more younger people to the association, to the Dharma itself, right? The challenge faced by Buddhism is not just by Buddhism, it's by all religions, all traditional religions of the world. We are losing the younger generation in all religions, actually. And how do we face this challenge and how do we resolve this? Master is now referring back to Master Ying Shun's works. Master Ying Shun talked about, the development of Buddhism, from the earlier time, then to the Mahayana period, and then to the even later period. And the Mahayana period is the starting of the Bodhisattva, this Bodhisattva path. And Master thinks that the Bodhisattva path is quite useful concept for the younger generation, because the younger generation are young, energetic, and then they would be attracted to this kind of that Bodhisattva practice if we are skillful enough to guide them. Because in our modern time, all these social media and then all these AI thing, the young people are very, very much distracted. They have very short, attention span. So the Master is saying that we have to be very skillful using all modern means and, to help the younger people to come to the Dharma. So if we are skillful enough, he believes that we can, we can still successfully passing on the Dharma, precious Dharma, to the younger generation. So right view is most important, especially for the younger people. Without the right view, they go astray very easily. So with the right view, as the guidance, and the next is how we skillfully bring them to the Dharma. How the Venerable here is suggesting, by bringing them to work together. For example, if you bring young people to see what suffering is, they might be living in a rather carefree condition. They don't know what poverty is about. For example, you bring them to see other people, poor people's life, so they see how suffering is about. They then would reflect on their own life and understand how much well off they are. Or you bring them to see the handicapped people, for example, and to remind them, you're already much better off, and you have your hands and feet, you can contribute already. So if parents can start, bringing their children to practice, compassion together, and then through these daily life, working together experiences, you also impart the right view throughout the process. Then little by little, because the Dharma is not separate from their daily life. The young people do not like listening to you preaching, right? So you have to be very skillfully working with them together, and then you try to skillfully show them the right view, right path. Then there's hope. You are kind, you are nice to people. That will be the essence of the Dharma. So he will be encouraging the young people to practice that to themselves and to the people around them. And little by little, the young people form a habit of doing that. And then they will be some transformation in themselves. And then little by little, it can also teach them more deeper, more profound Dharma. So going further from the same metaphor, Dharma as water. So, for example, if our handsome MC like coffee, then you put coffee into the water, you still have the water, right? And then, for example, Christy enjoys tea more, then we put tea leaves into the water. As long as the water can be taken, then the water can benefit the drinker. So likewise, the Dharma can benefit all younger generation as long as you are able to guide them, to interest them to take that water. So that's exactly how he would like to attract the young people.
Venerable, may I ask you about your remarks on Buddhist media? As there are numerous Buddhist medias working with the mission of propagation of the Dharma around the world. As the president of a Buddhist association, how do you recognize the efforts of Buddhist media?
这也是我这次来尼泊尔最主要的行程之一，就来到了菩提电视台。为什么呢？因为在这个尼泊尔这个地方，这个弘法的媒体正要萌芽。其实台湾已经很成熟。
So, of course, coming from Taiwan, in Taiwan we already have many, like Buddhist media, right? And in the world as well, we are making efforts in using media to spread the Dharma. But here in Nepal, especially, Venerable is saying that one of the major mission for him to Nepal this time is to visit Bodhi TV station. Because he's seeing Bodhi TV station as shouldering a great responsibility in propagating the Dharma back to Nepal. Very, very important for Bodhi TV to take such a role to really spread the Dharma, to bring back the Dharma to this beautiful land. So here's to also share with you what Venerable himself is doing now, and then his also future vision as well for media. So Master wants to share with you his project, because after observing how young people like to play with their cell phone, and use their cell phone to take photos, mostly themselves, right? Selfie, right? But then he tried to skillfully use that as a tool. He encourages young people in his project to use the phone to listen to others, to film others. For example, the patients in hospital, people who are suffering. He guides them to do the documentary of those interviews, and then through their screen, because the young people have their project to film, and they will be listening to the story of the suffering, and then from those stories they started to reflect upon their own life, and they also learn to practice compassion. So that is what the Venerable is now encouraging young people to do. He also teaches them how to do editing, how to create short clips from their interviews. So young people are attracted to that workshop, that sort of workshop. He would hire professional director to guide them too. So knowing that many young people actually are also interested in creating their own film, they want to be director too. So you give them that sort of training. You hire a professional director to guide them, to shoot what Buddha stories, for example, or life stories, and they then will create their own 3 to 5 minute short clip, because they know what young people like too. Young people have very short attention span. So then little by little, for example, maybe they can shoot the Ashoka pillar and tell a little story of the Ashoka pillar or the Buddha's life, or whatever that they feel interested themselves spontaneously. So they go and create such films, and then maybe we can have a collaborative project with Bodhi TV. Maybe you can have some more materials from these young people to share as well. He's also sharing that with you, like creating incentives for young people. For example, you can have some award. He's doing that. Venerable is doing that himself, right? So if you can create films, and then there's some sort of competition, and if you win the competition, then you get the award. And but actually, the most important thing is about the process. through the process, you film other people's stories, stories of suffering, dukkha, and then compassion, and also Venerable will be guiding them throughout the way, also to answer their questions, to give some Dharma teachings along the way. Then with that right view, cultivation in right view, they can never become bad boys or girls, right? So through that process, they would become mature, and then they will find their life path in the future. So those 3 steps, right? Using social media, using their interests, and then try to guide them to make their own film, and then try to award them, create incentive, give them a sense of accomplishment. And that can be, a skillful means you can also do if you like. Bodhi TV has a great responsibility and also a very privileged position, because you're located right in Nepal, and then the Buddha was born in Lumbini, right? This birth of the Buddha, and now the rebirth, the transformation of the way you spread the Buddha Dharma can take place right here too. So so Bodhi TV, of course, can play a very important role of spreading the Buddha Dharma. So that's his, So in addition to being like a leading, like a media, Buddhist media, you can also become a leader in transforming the way you spread the Dharma.
Venerable, Nepal is the sacred birthplace of the Buddha and a historic heartland of Himalayan Buddhism, or the Mahayana or Vajrayana. While you are visiting this holy land, may I ask you if there is any special spiritual inspiration or compassionate mission which brings you to this place?
我来尼泊尔这一次来有两个大因缘。第一个呢，就是明就仁波切的因缘那为什么明就仁波切我想要来？因为呢，他也在倡导一个年轻的佛教。那第二个呢，要倡导必须要有媒体，所以呢，我就选择要来菩提电视台。
It's really beautiful, wonderful Dharma that has brought, Master to Nepal and to Bodhi TV station. Actually, his two major missions here in Nepal this time is, first of all, Mingyur Rinpoche's invitation. And he accepted the invite to come because he knows that Venerable, like Mingyur Rinpoche also is very much concerned about bringing the younger generation to the Dharma. He has many projects, right? So with this meeting with the Mingyur Rinpoche, they can hopefully share many great vision and many ideas and how to collaborate. So that would be the number 1 mission. The number 2 mission, to come here, of course, you want the Dharma to spread. In our modern time, media plays a very important role, and especially Bodhi TV, being in this Buddha's birthplace. Just now, we already mentioned, this is a time to transform the way we spread the Dharma, right? So in the new time, you need to have new interpretation. You need to have new tool, new method, in order for the Dharma to reach to the younger generation. And we have great masters, already, right? Just now we mentioned all these wonderful masters, Master Yin Shun, Master Zheng Yan, Tzu Chi, Master Sheng Yan, Fa Hu Shan, Master Xing Yun. All these wonderful masters, they have, really done their role. They have made their efforts in propagating the Dharma. But with the younger generation, being the youngest, so-called youngest president, he's hoping to bring even younger president in the future to continue this association. So he's trying to figure out new methods. So this visit in Bodhi TV really is also fulfilling his one of his greatest wish and vision. Yeah, and also Nepal where the Prince Siddhartha is born, right? That image of Siddhartha Prince, always in the baby Buddha form, right? That is a great image, great reminder for us to all return to our original intention, to our baby-like state, where our mind is still very pure. We don't have that much desire. We don't, really have conflicts with other people. So with that in mind, we can reduce the tension. And also with that in mind, the younger generation, you want to be childlike. You want to, be young. You want to have a young heart. So you get along with them. You don't want to just preach them all the time. Don't do this, don't do that. They won't listen. So you want to play with them. You want to be their friends. So that is another wonderful thing, to be back here in Nepal, and hopefully we can work together. And if only we can all return to that very innocent, very pure state, the Pure Land will be right in front of us. All my best wishes and blessings for the Bodhi TV station. You'll be the new hope, the new media for the world, a new beginning for how you spread the Buddha Dharma.
May I request you to call upon our audience to come to the Dharma, how they can join with the Dharma, how they can cultivate for their inner peace and peace of the all humanity and the nature.
其实呢，我有3个要跟大家分享，也是我现在正在努力在做的一件事情。第一个呢，从自身做起，长养自己的慈悲心。
The master said that he wanna share the 3 parts, which he's actually himself trying very hard to practice too with our audience. So number 1 is to really watch your own personal desire. Try to limit, to minimize your personal desire, and to practice compassion. You don't apologize after you hurt people. You want to stop hurting people already. You want to really watch it. And you don't, focus on your personal desire. If only you can minimize that, then you won't have conflict with others. So how we achieve this is maybe we give ourselves a little homework every day. Every day I want to make sure my compassion, my level of compassion is increased a little bit more. If I maybe can do something to benefit others, I do that. I can plan to do that. Or if I don't have a concrete plan, that's okay. Whoever needs help, then I reach out to help. Then I increase my, level of compassion a bit more every day. Then that will be my homework. So the number 1 is to be a bit more compassionate, to get rid of your own self-desire. Number 1. Number 2, to give yourself a little homework, to practice compassion by helping others. Right? Then that will be number 2. Number 3, to be happier, to be more relaxed. But actually, they are all interlinked, because how do you be happy? Well, you are not happy because you want something. You have desire, right? And so how do you be happy? Well, if only you can reduce your own desire, you help other, number 2, right? You help other, so that you can be happier, and then you can be more relaxed. And if you can practice all these 3 together, every day you become more compassionate, less desire, and happier. By the time your time is off, you are dying, then you are much happier, you are much more relaxed, and you wouldn't go to bad places. So to sum up, you benefit yourself by not wanting much, right? Like not having much desire, and then you help others, benefit yourself, benefit others, and be at ease, be happy. So 3 instructions for myself and for all to share. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
We offer our sincere gratitude, Most Venerable, for gracing us your invaluable time. This precious time which you shared with us is very meaningful and historic for our Buddhist history and our mission of propagation of Buddhism from Nepal. Thank you, Sister Dr. Hui-Chang for translation.
you.
And thank you very much, everyone, for watching this program. Keep watching Bodhi television. Bhavatu Sarva Mangalam.